Hey everyone, I wanted to go ahead and provide you guys with a very quick review for Centipede Recharged that's available on the Nintendo Switch as of September 29th. I want to quickly give a shout out to ATARIS for reaching out and giving me a review code, so a huge shout out to them for giving me a chance to talk a little bit about this game. If you for some reason don't actually know what Centipede is, it's basically an arcade game that was available pretty much in the early 80s, pretty much all the way into the 90s, and it was relatively really popular in the Commodore and television and other consoles as well, but it was basically played mostly on the arcades. What we're looking at here with the Recharge package is pretty much a modern take, more upgraded visuals, obviously a more fluid, more visually appealing version of the original game, and taking some cues and pretty much improving on it as best as possible while still keeping it relatively close to the original arcade experience. So basically, as a 2D shmup, you're pretty much just hanging around at the bottom side of the screen and clearing out as many enemies as possible, typically and mainly the centipedes themselves. But the game is not necessarily limited to them. There's different other bug types as well that you're definitely going to want to make sure you pretty much are taken care of at all times. Obviously, you also have things that are standing in the way, blocking your shots. You need to make sure you clear out the way as best as possible so you can reach the other end, pretty much the top side of the screen, for your shots to fully hit the trajectory and pretty much hit the other end of the map. Now, whenever you typically shoot down centipedes, they're going to split up into different little bugs and stuff like that. You're also going to have like the fireflies, I believe, or the fleas are pretty much diving down and making sure that, you know, if they hit you, they're going to one-shot you is one of those things. You also have like scorpions coming in the way, spiders, and all sorts of little nasty critters that are going to try to take you down. And your goal is pretty much to just avoid getting hit and pretty much survive as long as possible so you can rack up that score. These games in traditional, like most arcade games, are score chasers. The goal has always been to just survive as much as possible, rack up that score, and then flaunt it on the online leaderboards. Speaking of that, that feature is coming back, so you don't necessarily have to worry about it too much. At the end of every single one of the runs, you're going to be able to see your score rack up pretty much worldwide or local or stuff like that. So all that is there. Now, one of the things that makes this game really appealing to me personally is the power-ups themselves. Pretty much whenever you take down a big monster, a big critter, they're going to drop a power-up of any kind. Be it lasers, being like wave shots, being spread shots, anything along those lines. And the great part is, and pretty much the good thing that I want to report about this, is the fact that no one power-up feels too weak or too powerful. And it's one of those like really good balancing that ultimately makes the game feel pretty much just fluid the entire time. There's never like whenever you got a power up, you feel like, oh man, I really wish I had another power up. Instead, it just feels like, nope, I'm actually pretty good with the one that I have and I'm gonna make the best of it. Each one of them definitely serves a purpose and they feel pretty well balanced altogether. So that's always a bonus whenever you have these type of shmup games with varying power buffs. I'm also happy to report that performance on the Nintendo Switch is fluid, is great. I had no issues with it whatsoever. I spent most of my time playing on the Nintendo Switch Lite, but my capture here on the normal Switch was just no issues whatsoever. So yeah, the game is just running great on the Switch. You shouldn't necessarily be too concerned with that, but again, you shouldn't be too worried anyways. Those graphics aren't really going to be pushing the Switch all that much, and frame rates are pretty stable, so that's also not a worry. There is a local co-op feature as well, but I was not able to test that out to play with anyone, so I can't really speak to that in that regard. But that is also a feature if you're looking to play with someone else as well. There's also a group of challenges that you can check out as well. Those are pretty good for seasoned veterans. You definitely want to be able to try those out as well. But Centipede Recharge pretty much hits all the beats that you would expect this type of game to do. It plays well, it feels good, the power-ups are balanced, and it's just very quick in and out matches that you don't necessarily need to be too concerned with. Obviously, you want to live as long as possible, and that's pretty much the only point of the game, so you can rack up those scores. Nintendo Sphere gives Centipede Recharged on the Nintendo Switch a 7 out of 10. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya!